All right, so you guys interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, and now everybody's yelling at you guys. I assume, right? Is that what's going on?
Yes, we're getting definitely some yells.
Okay, so first and foremost, who the set that up? Was it Miriam Adelson?
Well, we actually toured the White House right before, and he was in D.C. So it's kind of like a
someone
hand-in-hand
must
thing.
have. Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't like, I love the Nelk boys. I'm a big consumer of Happy Dad, and then was like, let's do this.
Well, we've had Trump on a few times.
Some communications team at the White House hit us up, connected us with their communications team, and presented us the opportunity to do it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, let's do it. Sounds great.
I mean, yeah, I can say it again. I've said it a few times, but I can't speak to podcasting as a whole. And, other podcasters, they'll have people on with just people they've had good relationships with, or their friends, or people they agree with. But with the Full Sun podcast, hate it or love it, right or wrong, if we ever get the opportunity to have a controversial guest on, we're never going to turn it down. Because in my opinion, what we want to do with the Full Time podcast on is we're not afraid to have controversial people on. We're going to ask them questions. Sure, we're probably not the best at asking questions. We're not the best journalists, never claimed to be. So we might not be the best at pressing them. But in my opinion, it's up to the viewer to form their own educated opinion. Like, we have someone controversial on, we ask them questions. I think people give us a little too much credit when they say, oh, you're platforming him, or like, I think, sure, we have a young audience, but they're not fucking stupid. I think this podcast is a perfect example of that. If you go and read the comments, just because we have someone on, we're sitting beside someone, people aren't going to be like, oh my God, Nelk's with them. Like, I fucking love this person. Like, yeah, wait, that's just not the way
I don't think
it works.
I don't think anybody loves Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't even think American presidents like Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, though.
But and I don't think you can listen. I don't think you can platform the prime minister of Israel. That's not my argument. I don't really give a shit about that. My question is like, do you feel like there is a culpability that you have? Because, like, look, Donald Trump is a contentious figure, and obviously he's responsible for a metric ton of pain and violence as well, but so is every other American president. That's one thing. But Benjamin Netanyahu is like unique in the sense that he's also a foreign leader. So I guess the question is like, because he's getting something out of this, right? He's getting something out of this where he gets to, I guess, like try and humanize himself.
That's the thing that's on is we'll have anyone on. Like next episode, we're going to have someone on with the complete opposite ideology that we've already been planning before this podcast came out.
Who are you guys having on?
I mean, I'd love to hear your suggestions. We have from different friends. You could DM us after if you don't want to say them live, but we're talking to a few different people, and we want to choose the right person to kind of represent the opposite side.
Okay, but Benjamin Netanyahu isn't just like a podcaster, you know what I mean? Like, he's literally the prime minister that is a war criminal by the International Criminal Court. He's like literally branded as a war criminal. And it's unique because like the International Criminal Court is a European institution. And they've never actually criticized an American or anyone who's an American ally in the past.
I think if you watch it though too, I think yes. I mean, I think me and Steiny could have pressed them a little bit harder, but we did ask him, what is your response to when people say you're starving children in Gaza? Do you think October 7th could have been prevented? Are you trying to implement regime change in Iran? Like, Americans don't want another war with regime change. So we definitely did ask him some questions that I think people wanted to know.
Okay, what did he say? I mean, of course, he said
for starving children in Gaza, he said that they bring the food in and Hamas steals it and then sells it.
That's a lie. You know what I mean? Like, that's so.
Right.
So here's the thing.
What's your opinion? Hassan, you got to remember, one side's going to say one thing, and the other side's going to say it's a lie.
I don't think you guys having a conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu is the interesting point of contention here for me, at least. Like, I mean, I think it's in and of itself, it's like worthy of scrutiny because it's like, you got it's like interviewing Adolf Hitler. Like,
okay, so wait, what's your response to what he answered us? You didn't even talk about that.
It's a fucking lie. No human rights organization that works on the ground, from the UN to the World Food Program, has ever agreed to the Israeli position that this is all stealing aid or whatever. As a matter of fact, they've openly said that is not the case at all. It's just a way for Israel to continue justifying its starvation policies against the entire civilian population of Gaza so that they can claim that, like, oh, Hamas is just like stealing this aid. It's bullshit. They've never actually given a single piece of fucking evidence for this. It is just a claim that people have to supposedly take at face value because Israel said it.
What's the other side's proof? Just so we can play both sides here.
Well, the other side is not even like the side of the Palestinians. I'm not even offering the side of the Palestinians. The Palestinians obviously think that that's bullshit as well. But the other side is an unbiased third party. The World Food Program is not, on board with Hamas or anti-Israel beyond, the obvious reasons why you would be anti-Israel, because they're doing these things and then lying about it.
So what's your overall opinion of us? Like Kyle stated, that we're having a world leader on. That's what we're more focused on.
I think it was dumb. I'll be honest. Because it's not.
But you would do the same thing, Hasan, if you had the opportunity. 100%.
No, I mean, there's a difference though. I'm well equipped to have a conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu, because when he says something like that, I can turn around and be like, well, the World Food Program has said that, there is no evidence to suggest that is stealing aid. Whereas you don't have that follow-up in that situation. And Benjamin Netanyahu knows that, and his team knows that, which is precisely why he went on the Nelk Boys podcast and he didn't go on, my stream or something. And I don't even know if I would honestly have a conversation with him if given the opportunity.
In my opinion, I think that, like, for example, I think Trump is really good on the podcast. Like, obviously, that's why he did his whole podcast. I mean, he's clearly a good speaker. Like, you can't deny that. But I think, in my opinion, just because we platform someone, it doesn't necessarily equate to like a positive outcome for the guest. And I think this is like a perfect example of that. Like, this could even be a negative thing.
No, I think in the grand scheme of things, like it's not moving the needle, because Benjamin Netanyahu gets positive coverage from every outlet. He gets positive coverage from every outlet. So you guys are marginal in that regard. It's not like all that significant. But if you're looking for
that's what I'm trying to say though.
What do you mean?
If Fox News has him on and they're more supportive of him than we have him on. CNN
yeah, no, that's why I'm saying it's marginal. Like you having him on is marginal, as opposed to like him going on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, all of those other outlets, and then not just Benjamin Netanyahu, but like Israeli envoys going on CNN. That is ultimately playing a role in crafting this elaborate narrative that Israel is always in the right, Israel has a right to defend itself, and that they have to do these things. They have to contextualize this violence. Like, all of that plays a much larger role. You guys just basically are presenting a similar perspective that you get from CNN or Fox News, but now to a younger audience that's going to look at, I guess, maybe Benjamin Netanyahu and be like, he's a chill guy that you can hang with, but I don't even know if he's capable of doing that.
Wait, Hasan, here's kind of where I disagree with you. Is if you watch CNN or you watch Fox News, you kind of know what narrative you're looking for. And with us playing that neutral ground, you don't know what you're going to get, right? So that's the differentiator. And like we told, I don't know if Kyle mentioned this earlier, but we're having a pro-Palestinian on as our very, very soon here. So
I don't know who you guys are having on, but I mean, it depends on.
What I'm trying to say is, like, how are we, if we're a neutral podcast, how are we anything like either side? If you know what you're going to get when you tune into either network.
No one is fully neutral in that regard, right? Because, what about Adolf Hitler?
I think we'd always kind of play the neutral role.
You would play a neutral role interviewing Adolf Hitler. I don't think that's the case. I think you're just saying that right now because you want to.
We're just not the best at grilling guests and pushing back on them, to be honest. Like I said, we're not claiming to be good journalists. Like, we can ask a question, but when it comes to like a follow-up question, I'll be honest, we're not the most, like, I've never claimed to be super educated on this.
Hasan, you haven't even watched the podcast.
I haven't. I haven't had time. I don't know what kind of questions you guys ask, but I assume.
The first few minutes is us sitting there like, yo, we are not qualified to do this. This is fucking insane. We acknowledge the fact that, yeah, you're right. We're not the best journalists. We're not the most fit to do this. But the fact that we had an opportunity to interview a world leader, two guys like us, we're going to jump on that just as I know you would. So
yeah, but the difference is the difference is, like, if there was a situation where I felt like I was ill-equipped for the task, I would just not do it. You know what I mean?
I didn't say we're ill-equipped, but I said there's people probably more fit.
Well, I mean, if you're I mean, this is a unique opportunity. You have an unprecedented opportunity.
The Full Send podcast is, I'll be honest. No, let's be honest. The Full Send podcast is never going to be the fucking best line of question. Like, I'll be honest. That's the honest truth. Let's be fucking real here. That's exactly, and that's why they choose us, and that's why the show is what it is, because we're kind of dumb and we're not the best fucking. We're not. Let me
ask you guys this: is there a person?
The podcast is what it is.
Is there a person that you guys wouldn't interview? Because, like, we're also, like, now stuck on whether you guys should be interviewing Benjamin Netanyahu or not. I think if someone is
in today's age, like right now, I think that's a fair question to ask. Right now,
I can't think of someone.
Okay, so, like, even out of, like, because the reason why I have to go back to historical figures that have conducted genocides is because, like, Benjamin Netanyahu is doing one right now, and he's not even the singular force of evil here.
You're talking about hypotheticals, bro. That's where you lose me, because you're talking
Well,
about
I mean, the
this.
reason why I'm is trying. Well, I'm using this as an analogy.
Putin on? Like Tucker Carlson had Putin on. Other journalists have.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson had Vladimir Putin on, and when Tucker Carlson had Vladimir Putin on, he did that in a capacity to do propaganda for Vladimir Putin, for sure. He didn't push back at all. He was there. He was in Russia, and he did it specifically so he could do.
You really can't in that.
I know, but that's precisely why, like, sometimes it's better not to take that opportunity. You know what I mean? That's my position.
Right. Like for the
even then, Tucker Carlson, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Tucker Carlson is still more equipped to at least have like follow-up questions. Like, think about the Ted Cruz interview that he had. Like, he obviously is.
Yeah. Of course, Tucker's the man in my opinion. But when I watched that Putin interview, like I thought Putin was like dodging questions and he like didn't answer anything. So that's what goes back to my point of like platforming someone. And I think just because we have someone on, it doesn't always mean a positive for the guest. And I mean, you go read this comment section, like I don't think this is necessarily a positive thing for Netanyahu.
Yeah, but it's not a positive thing for you guys either, because most of your audience is probably already anti-Israel and anti-Netanyahu. So now they're yelling at you guys.
That's
so
fine,
now
I can sleep at night knowing like our intention with this, and you know, we're not fucking pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Israel. I don't know enough about this conflict, to be honest. I only see what I read online, and I hear his point of view, then I hear your point of view. I really have no idea what's going on. I'd love to learn more, but
yeah, but I think you got to do that before you do an interview. Look, my point is this.
Okay, wait, but Hassan,
what you guys did is from my estimation, okay, what you guys did is no different than like what CNN does, okay? You just basically presented someone who is a war criminal, someone who is doing a genocide in a somewhat neutral light. And you can't be neutral when you have someone like Benjamin Netanyahu directly in an opportunity to talk to him. But that's what happened. So there is moral culpability here for you guys individually.
Well, I think this is the way we roll with this is it's going to give us the opportunity to get the biggest people in the world. And I think you'll know by the Full Send podcast when you watch it. It's like, hey, we're going to watch these guys are going to get big guests. We might not necessarily get these guys grilling these people. And that's just what you're going to come to expect.
I know, but if you don't grill them, then all you're doing is like, you know, just like I said,
we're having them on, and people
what you're doing in that situation is basically just propaganda. No,
I still think people are hold on. So
wait, Tyler, you're missing the biggest point here. Son, we're looking to have someone from the opposite side and give them the exact same opportunity.
Okay, well, you would have to. I mean, there is no opposite side, because like there's one side that's being genocided and the other side that's doing the genocide. But
what I was gonna say is that we did talk about Hamas. We did talk about a lot of these things.
I know, but just simply talking about it without having the proper knowledge and the proper equipment to be able to push back when he's lying only turns it into an opportunity for him to, like, why do you think Benjamin Netanyahu did this? He did this because...
No, we agree with you.
No, we agree with you. We're not. We know that.
Bro, that's the reason
he used you guys is what I'm saying. He used you guys and your lack of knowledge on this issue.
I don't know if that was necessarily successful.
Yeah. That with Kyle, I agree.
I mean,
I think everyone's seeing what Trump did, and Hassan, after the whole election, the whole story was how podcasts won the election, blah blah blah. That was every story. Like I even did a bunch of interviews on it too. And I think obviously the Israeli team sees that and they're like, oh, we need to do podcasts. But in my opinion, not everyone is a Trump and that good of a speaker that can go on and kind of adapt to any environment. And I think that Netanyahu came on, and I think you see the response. And I think that podcasting doesn't work for anyone. We saw what happened with Kamala too. Like she was a fucking disaster on pod. So I think just because we platform someone, it doesn't necessarily like mean that we're trying to help them, or I think viewers are a lot smarter than they think they are.
Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu is a multiple decade politician and has been the leader of Israel in perpetuity. He is a lot better at propaganda than you think he is. Okay, first of all, let's just get that out of the way. The idea that you think that he is not capable of like weaving through a couple softballs that you thought were hard-hitting questions that he has probably addressed a million times over is silly. Let me make no mistake.
Oh no, yeah, I agree with you on that.
So my question to you is, why do you think he wanted to come on the Nelk Boys podcast? You saw the podcast.
Of course he wanted to.
We're not stupid, bro.
Of course he wanted to come on to try to win over the young audience. We're not disagreeing on that.
Okay.
I'm saying I don't necessarily know if that's successful. And I think just because you come on the Full Send podcast and sit beside Nelk boys and take some softball questions if you say that, it doesn't necessarily equate to a positive outcome for the guest.